Hello and welcome. We're at OU Students HQ in Milton Keynes, and today I'm with Cath.
Hi, I'm Cath Brown. I'm President of the Students Association, and probably more importantly for this, I've been an OU student for 10 years now, and I've done 2.5 degrees, so wow. I'm an OU addict, sorry.
OU addict, I love that. So I work in the student support team, but I'm also a student, and I started studying in May. And I actually have a TMA due on the 6th of December, so what we'd like to do is talk about how to approach your first TMA.
Oh, tense time, isn't it, coming up to that?
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh. So we've got a few tips, I think, have we?
Yes, so you've come up with 5, haven't you? And if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about those, that would be lovely.
Certainly will. So the first one was starting good time, and it sounds obvious, doesn't it, that you don't want to be rushing into it at the last minute. And I know some people out there really do rush it at the last minute, but that's a bit of a recipe for stress. Is that you?
Oh, yeah, I'm getting better.
Good. It's a bit of a recipe for stress, isn't it, really? I mean, I understand not wanting to work until you get close to the deadline, but if you kind of kid yourself the deadline was like 3 days earlier, then you've still got a bit of margin, haven't you? The reason I always say that is not just because it makes you feel stressed and you can't think straight, but it's quite good to be able to come back to it a day or so after and just read through, see if you've done anything daft.
That's a good tip. Okay, and what's the next one?
Next one, it has to be the really, really important one, is about talking to your tutor. There's so many students out there who act like they're still at school and their tutor is this really horrible, scary teacher who's coming to get them all the time. It ain't like that. We're all adults. They want you to succeed. And, okay, they can't tell you what the answers are, but at least if you talk to them early and say, look, I'm not quite understanding how to do it, they may be able to give you a bit of a hint. If you're really running behind, life has been against you, they might be able to arrange an extension. But just get in touch with them early, get to know them. They really, really can be your best friend at the OU.
Funny you say that, actually, because I noticed sometimes that a tutor can then point you to like the bits that are crucial for your TMA, can't
Absolutely,
they?
yeah.
And also point you to like the resources that the library have, so like how to reference or how to think critically and how to write critically. So they're all useful pointers really that a tutor can help you, can't they, with those. And what next then?
Well, I think one of the really important ones, in fact I've kind of got 2 together, is about don't expect to be perfect. We all want to do our best, we're all kind of thinking, oh no, I've really tried so hard for this, I want a top mark, but realistically you're not going to get 100% very often. And realistically we're all here to learn, aren't we? We start out, we don't know it, we're not an expert about it yet, so don't expect yourself to be perfect, give it your best, but don't beat yourself up. And the other one is don't compare yourself to others. It doesn't matter if someone else there has got 90%. So what? That's nice for them, be glad for them. It's like, suppose you've got unfit me here and I decide to start running. No, this isn't going to happen, guys, but just imagine, okay? Now, I shouldn't get upset if I can't run as fast as someone who's been running and in training for ages, should I? And it's the same thing here. You might have someone else in there, they've spent ages and ages and ages on it, they've got all the time in the world, they've been studying for years and years. So what if you don't get as much as them? It doesn't matter. Just think about your aims.
Yeah, focus on your own being. That's the
absolutely
most important,
right. Yes, and that's the point. You need to be realistic. Give it your best. Never beat yourself up. Don't compare.
Brilliant. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use that.
Excellent. Learn through it. The key thing about a TMA, they're actually there to learn from. I know it feels a bit sometimes like someone's judging us, and again, you get very intense about it. But the most important thing about any TMA is the feedback that you get there from your tutor.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a few people around and they get the mark back and they're a little bit disappointed and they can't face looking at it. But the thing to do then is to just give yourself a bit of a break, have coffee, have a nice bar of chocolate or piece of cake or something stronger if it's that time of day and you feel so inclined.
Like gin and tonic, don't
we do, yes, so or gin. And come back to it in a day or so when you've had a chance to get your disappointment out of your system, and then go through it and just read it carefully, read every single little bit of feedback, and don't take it personally, that mark. That tutor is marking your work, they're not marking you, they're not saying you're not an adequate person.
Very true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so they're marking your work, look at every single little bit of feedback, make a note of really important points so you can use them next time, and if you don't get it, you know what I'm going to say, ask your tutor again.
There you go.
So, remember they're on your side, they're there to help you, and the feedback is there to help you learn and grow. Imagine if you're learning to drive, and your driving instructor is telling you about how to improve your turn in the road. You're going to try and do it, aren't you? That's how you're going to get to learn to pass your driving test. You're not going to say, no, I'm better. So make sure you take it on board, even if it's a little bit hard to at times. And I
Brilliant.
think that's really one of those things that, remember, TMAs, the main function is to learn from, not to be judged, to learn from.
Fantastic. So actually that feeds nicely into your next tip, which is about how to recover when things don't go so well.
That's right, yes. I mean, you always can recover. It is not the end of the world. There are so many OU students out there. In fact, I'd suspect every single OU student out there has had a disappointing TMA. They've maybe had a disappointing module. Even with, I know someone personally who's had a couple of cases where she's failed a module and she's now doing her doctorate. So,
fantastic.
Yep, there's absolutely no reason to be downhearted if things go a little bit wrong. That's just one of those setbacks that's part of life. And you can do things about it.
Yeah. So actually there's also services available for when things don't go so well with students, isn't there? Could you tell us a bit more about those?
Of course. Well, with the OU, obviously, we've got student support teams. So if you think that you're concerned that things are going quite badly wrong and you want to talk to them as well as your tutor, and they're there. We've also obviously got the services we have in the association. So we've got our peer support service, and that's all anonymised. There's no reason to feel embarrassed or anything like that. But if you'd like to chat things through with someone who understands exactly how it is to be an OU student, that's a really, really useful service. And we've relaunched that this year, haven't we?
We have, yes. And also it's really important to say that service is run, well, it's delivered by OU students, and it's completely confidential. So you won't know who you're talking to, and what you say does remain, is kept private. And then we also have Nightline.
We do. We're affiliated to Nightline, and that runs at night, like it says. What is it? Is it 6
It's 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. through term time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just phone that up. Basically, as an OU student, you're in a position to phone that up if you want to have a chat to someone. And I think the night works really well, because that's often when we do get a little bit stressy. You're sitting there, you're feeling absolutely desperate. You can't get your head around this.
I guess it's the time if you're feeling stressed and you can't sleep, then actually, that's a great number to call, isn't it? Because then you can relay some of your worries and your anxieties, and actually there's someone there to listen to and help talk through your concerns.
And that's all manned by students, isn't it? Not all OU students, but it's manned by students.
That's true.
So people who absolutely get what it's like to be worrying.
Basically, students are amazing, volunteers are amazing. We just need to keep using them services, don't we?
We do, and we've got a nice new one from the OU called Big White Wall as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is about mental health issues. And if you've got an OU email, you can just sign up to that, and it's all online. So that's another way to get a bit of extra support. And we've had quite a lot of OU students signing up to that already, and we're getting very, very good feedback about how useful it is. So if you're feeling you've got an issue with your mental wellness, that might be a really good place to go.
Mm-hmm. Sure, and you can actually access that information through our oustudents.com website. So if you go to the student support section, and on the drop down there's a tab called Big White Wall, and it's got all the information there about how you can access that service. So actually we'd like to offer you the chance to ask some questions as well. If you do have any, please leave them below in the comment section, and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. And if we don't know the answer, we will try and find the answer and get back to you.
We certainly will. Thanks for watching.
Brilliant, thank you.
Bye. Best of luck with that TMA. I'm sure you'll do brilliantly.
Good luck.